breaking it down from the garage perspective. Steve Post, pit road reporter for Motor Racing Network, joined by 25-time winning and championship-winning crew chief Todd Gordon. Hello, Todd. How are you?
I'm great. What a kickoff this weekend.
Woo!
The playoffs in full, in front of you.
I think I said last week, whoever started the playoffs at Darlington deserves an attaboy and a raise. And boy, if you didn't believe that beforehand, man, oh man, what a wild show on Sunday night.
Well, the hardest race of the season.
Yes.
Every facet of racing.
Correct.
Whether it be the drivers. 500 miles at Darlington, up against the wall, running that. It's. I've talked to Blaney. I've talked to different guys about it. That's harder than 600 at Charlotte all day long. It's the hardest week of the year for the guys. Pit crews, 12 times coming to pit road. It's and we saw issues. Denny Hamlin, if he comes out around, he has an issue at the end of stage 2 that kind of buries him back. He had to recover from. It'd be a different race, I think, if that doesn't happen. The cars. Everything. The crew chiefs are making the calls. You saw the 43. You saw Chris Gapehart. They made different calls, and we had car failures that caused the caution. Kevin Harvick with a burned-up rocker box that caused the caution that separated the two strategies.
Yeah.
So what a great kickoff. And we kick off the playoffs in really a weekend that not a lot else is going on with a phenomenal show.
Phenomenal show, and a new crew chief winner, an old team winner, a new team winner. This is petty GMS. The petty part of it is old. The GMS is new, which I think is so dynamic and so exciting. I think that everyone expected when Dave Allenz got the opportunity from Junior Motorsports to go cup racing, he would succeed, and he did. But the beauty of this thing is they did everything right, putting themselves in the spot so that when something happens, they're in that spot. And then last 20 laps, that driver was money.
Yep.
That driver was money.
And maybe lost in the whole thing is the most important piece of that is the pit crew executed on that last stop.
Yes, they did.
They passed the 8 car. They came in behind the 8 car. They passed the 8 car.
Yep.
Not so noticeable because at that point, it was the pass for second.
Yeah.
And then the 18 blows up under caution. Now he controls the restart.
Right. Controls the restart and is gone and wins the race. And just so many stories, so many neat facets with Richard Petty, so many neat facets, again, with Maury Gallagher. Just you come into this thing, you try to find your way into it, and here you are going to win. Eric Jones. I have thought Eric Jones is a Cup Series rock star. This is his 3rd career win.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the numbers, how many guys have ran Cup Series without 3 wins, and 2 of them are Southern 500s.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
The grind of all of them.
Yeah.
In 2 situations, he is executed when they had to.
Yeah.
And to the point, they did get that, but he still had to fend off a 20-some lap run to win this thing. Fend off against somebody who's won quite a few of them things as well.
Yeah, Denny, no doubt.
So,
but it's just so good, so good. I'm so happy. Like I said, Dave Allenz, great crew chief, and really, really cool to see him get his first win. I do want to reference this because they came away with snake eyes, but Kyle Busch's pit crew. Oh my gosh! I have a platform that I stand on, a photo tower, and there were a lot of those stops. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Again, they came away with snake eyes. When we talk about every facet of this team, that 18 team, when he came down pit road, they were going forward.
Yeah, and they were going forward. They executed everywhere.
Yes.
But to your point, the pit crew in those 12 stops, they did their part.
Yeah.
And that team's going to be one to be reckoned with.
I think so, too.
As we go forward. What a takeaway, though. Anything we thought that we saw a little separation, maybe had a little put. The 9-car Rex brings himself right back in the mix. This is a battle that's and we've got Kansas and Bristol coming up.
Yeah, and nobody is secure.
No.
There's the other thing with the Eric Jones win. It's like, well, who's locked in? Not a soul. Yeah. And Kansas has been one of those sneaky wild card races.
Oh yeah.
We look at it, okay, we got to get through the Roval, we got to get through Talladega, we got to get through Martinsville. Kansas has been as topsy-turvy, if not more topsy-turvy than those tracks.
And then how about Bristol?
Exactly.
It's for the first round. There's so much left in this thing.
How important is Kansas? Do you want to rely on going to Bristol?
No,
you
I
don't want to rely on going to Bristol.
I'll tell you the other piece of this weekend that really impressed me and kind of backed up at the end. There were two pieces,
Yes.
but the 99 car
fails
tech 3 times, has to go and do a pass through. Now, fortunate weather,
no doubt,
lets them serve the pass through, take the way or get the lucky dog, and then get themselves back in a position for the once we took the competition caution where they're racing. But if you looked at the trajectory of their day, they just marched their way forward. They came back from that pass through and lap down to be 4th at the end of into the 3rd stage. Now, got a speeding penalty on pit road. That's a mental mistake that Daniel really, cost themselves probably 12 or 13 positions.
Correct.
But had he not gotten that speeding penalty on pit road, he's in the hunt for a win. From starting with a pass through.
Yeah.
What a great day. And likewise the 5 team.
No doubt.
Thought they had an engine problem, went 3 laps down. They dug themselves back out of 3 laps down. Had to come back because they thought they had a loose wheel on a last caution before the last green flag run. Elsewise, they'd end up in the top 5. Came home with a solid 12th place finish.
Salvaged. When Kyle first cued that radio and said the engine's going away, if you'd have said to Cliff, would you take 12th right now?
Take it all day long. But just great to see teams overcome and work their way forward from a little bit of challenge.
Yeah, I had the 99 pit. Man, long run speed. Holy cow. That car, we talk about Denny having long run speed. I'm telling you, that 99 car was rolling at the end of that run. And then, we've talked about this all year long, whether it's a driver speeding penalty or a pit stop problem or you've got to be flawless these days.
Yes.
You've got to be flawless these days. I mean, isn't that what we want?
Yes.
It's exactly what we want.
And the cars made it where it's harder to be flawless.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, so it makes it more exciting.
Yeah, you got Chase Elliott rolling in turn number 2 and it swaps ends.
Yes.
I mean, that's the car makes it hard to be flawless.
Kyle Larson spun out on his own off of turn 4.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, how does that, Yeah. It's unreal. We are at such a neat spot. We really, truly are. Another sub-story to this. The Xfinity Series race was a spectacular finish. Spectacular finish.
Yeah.
Your Petty GMS Racing and your 2023 lineup swept, because Noah Gregson's going over there in that Cup car, swept Darlington.
Yeah.
Man, you can't tell me that Darlington race in May or wherever it falls in, whenever the schedule gets out, they've got to be like, man, we have got 2 drivers that on this racetrack can win. It's cool. It's neat stuff.
And Noah's a guy that can stick it up on a wall.
Yeah,
at a lot of these.
Yeah,
I mean, I would look for Noah to be pretty strong coming to Kansas. Kansas is a place that you'll end up sticking yourself up on a wall. Noah will be in the contention there. Obviously, Eric's done a really good job with it. It's
neat to see but that's the thing. We've talked a lot about Trackhouse this year. We were talking about this in our production meeting. Okay, set Trackhouse aside. Petty GMS Front Row Motorsports, we would be raving.
Yes.
Absolutely losing our minds raving about how good these teams have performed. Unfortunately, they're doing it under the shadow of Trackhouse.
Yeah, and you're right. But that's what this car's brought. It's brought a lot of opportunity for teams to step forward. Another one I want to talk about from the weekend is the 45 car.
Yes.
Solid top 10 finish. They're in the owners' championship now. It's kind of we've seen it in the Truck Series forever. We've seen it in the Busch Series, that Nationwide Xfinity, whatever you want. I'm old school. But we've seen it there, but we've got an opportunity now with Kurt's win. The 45 team was playoff eligible under the owners' points. He did relinquish his medical waiver, which took him out of the driver's part of it, but the owners' points are still there. Bubba Wallace now driving a 45 car. Solid effort. Solid effort this weekend.
Really is. And we're going to talk to Bootie Barker, the crew chief, on that effort. He's one of our guests today. We're also going to talk to David Pepper, talk a little Truck Series. He's the GM up at ThorSport. So going to be a fun time. That's the beauty of where we sit here. It's just that race on Sunday night. My gosh, you think, I love strategy races. I love a lot of pit stops as a pit road reporter, and then in the middle of it, you're having what's going on with Truex.
Yeah.
What's going on with this one?
Yeah.
And you're dialing up the scanner and hearing them talk about power steering and engines blowing up. I mean, it was just chaos.
Yeah.
It was just that race to me. It's just from my perspective, that seemed like about a 30-minute race because up and down pit road,
so
much going on.
Yeah.
And every time you turn around, here we go. Oh, this is going to be a green flag pit stop. This is going to be a stage break is coming up. So, I mean, it was just phenomenal.
I felt like we were on the throwback paint schemes in the spring race, and this was a throwback race. Because we had mechanical issues.
Yeah.
This just took me back to the 90s.
Yeah, it did.
What Darlington was like. And what a great show.
And I wouldn't want it any other way. My only breather as a pit road reporter was the last 20 laps. And I am telling you, watching that from the Petty GMS pit area, because we jump up on there and catch the crew chief, watching that from there, man, if I'm going to watch 20 laps of racing, that was the right 20 to watch and listen to Rick Corelli spotting, and Eric Jones never said a word, never missed a mark either.
Yeah, you got to take that last 20 off because they were out of tires.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They used them all.
Yeah, that was it. Great stuff, that's for sure. Darlington in the rear view. Kansas coming up. We'll talk some about that as well. As we mentioned later on the program, David Pepper, the GM up at ThorSport, going to join us. But when we come back, Robert Bootie Barker from Up at 2311 Racing joins us. You can subscribe to Flow Racing is the new home of NASCAR Roots. Catch the NASCAR Wheel and Modifieds, the ARCA Menard Series, the Pinty Series, and NASCAR Weekly Racing Series, and all over 1,300 racing events live and on demand. Headliners this week, ARCA Menard Series, Saturday night at Kansas on Flow Racing. Weekly Racing, Jennerstown, Berlin, Florence Motor Speedway, Langley, Meridian, Evergreen, and All-American Speedway, all there, all the time on flowracing.com. Learn more at flowracing.com/go MRN. Bootie Barker joins us next. Welcome back. It is Crew Call presented by Flow Racing. We talked about it in the opening, the wild and woolly Darlington, and some solid performances across the board. And Todd brought up the 45 car with Bubba Wallace at the helm. And joining us now from 2311 Racing is the crew chief. Bootie Barker joins us. Hello, Bootie. How are you?
Very good. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Let's talk a little Darlington. You guys seem to put together a pretty solid night in a night that people had ups and downs. You guys seem to be pretty solid across the board.
Yeah, we had a good long run car, and that's probably the safe play. But at the end of the race, you needed a short run car, but that's okay. And you pay Darlington respect, because what happens, the way I look at it, is if you got a car that fades in 25 laps big, it can fade so much you get in the wall and you're out. It's a dangerous place. So we respected it. We took what she gave us and we got on out of there.
And really well done. Really well done. I looked at the track of you guys all day long, kind of followed it. Right there around 10th, top 10 all day long. And I mean, took, as you said, took what the day gave you, and a solid run. You look back at this, and I was looking at you guys' history, really starting at New Hampshire back in July. I feel like your team made a step forward, and a lot of single digit qualifying efforts, a lot of single digit runs. And, there's obviously the Daytona situation that's what it is for everybody. But what's changed about that time in July? Because really, New Hampshire, I feel like from New Hampshire on, you guys have had great momentum coming into the playoffs.
We made a lot of mistakes early in the year, and we didn't want to make these mistakes. There are no intention there. But I think what happened is it all came to a boiling point. We had to take a reset and just wipe it clean in a way, and but the elements of success were there. Bubba, I would even when I was suspended and I got to we had a tire fall off, I got suspended, they're probably going to change that rule next year. I already changed it now. I don't know what the rule is. I mean, it changes. What I'm trying to say. It's not.
Yes. Yep.
But I got to see the race from a different perspective as well. And I told Bubba, I said, look, you were driving really well. I said, the world might not see it or whatever, but I see it. I know. And so he was progressing. We had to fix our mistakes. And at the same time, we were advancing. And then all of a sudden, here we go. It all kind of came together. So it wasn't one thing as much as different elements, having to get better. And that lit the wick,
Yeah, no doubt about it. It really does, really does. And Bootie, when you look at this, you can live by, we had a fast race car for a while, or we had all the elements. What is the momentum like though, now that you kind of have it and are able to have the documentation at the end that shows that as well? How important is that momentum as you guys roll forward?
Definitely. I think it proves to Bubba, if nothing else, he'd have to answer this, but I would have to think that he sees himself beating and competing against the best each week now. So it changes, it has to change your mindset. It has to, when you're passing cars, when you're working through traffic and there's Chase Elliott, it might would have been, man, I don't belong here. I got nothing for this cat, whatever. Now it's like, all right, he's done. It's just, you can get him. He's good. You have respect, but you can get him. You got the call, you got the talent, you got the stuff behind you it's just, I think it's just a mindset, and that is a continuation. Now but I'm gonna tell you, you can mindset all you want if you don't put in the work, and you have to have a good piece, which all of our company works on hard, and you have to get better, and you have to I hate Mondays here because that's our meeting day, but we go over our mistakes, and I know my mistakes, but we recognize our mistakes, and each week we try to fix them. So it's just a continual bombardment on trying to be better, so it's difficult, but it's rewarding as well.
You talk about having a good piece and putting a good work ethic in. Going back to Kansas, Toyotas at first Kansas were strong, especially Kurt, who I thought Saturday was, I called him Saturday as a winner, actually, on the MRN broadcast, because of what he was able to do in practice. I thought that was really, really special, but not that I didn't think you guys, I thought you guys were right there with him, had pit road challenges all day long, which I think is part of what you've talked about, you fixed through the year. It seems like the last couple months, you guys have been clicking on pit road. How much of either car's data do you look back on the development of setting up this time, or is the development cycle so far advanced now with this new car that you really can't take your Kansas notes forward?
No, we can take it. Well, let's put it this way. We used our Kansas stuff for Michigan. If that tells you anything.
Yeah.
So now we're going back to Kansas. So it should have speed. Bubba should have speed. But you're always trying to improve the car. So the difference is tweaks, small things, setup concept the same with tweaks to it. But as far as, this is not telling anything any of our competition would, that they don't know, but same geometry, same general pitch control.
Mm-hmm.
Just your foundation is going to be derived from what our first Kansas was, but you try to make, but our cars for sure are going to be better than they were the first time. We've evolved in that respect. So that's probably more where more speed will come from, is just in car development than secret setup stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have a dynamic there with 2311 Racing, where you had a veteran champion with Kurt Busch still in the fold there, but not behind the wheel of the car. You have to swap him out for a rookie with Ty Gibbs. You and Bubba have been solid all along. And then, of course, the alliance with Joe Gibbs. How much has that evolved, and losing Kurt behind the wheel of the race car? What's the adaptation been like there at 2311 for you guys with Kurt being on the sidelines?
Kurt in the beginning was certainly, I think what's happened is Bubba's had to take some of his responsibility or leadership on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's had to. So now where Kurt would give tidbits or talk in meetings about the do's and don'ts, this is what I do, this is what I look for. Bubba has now, he's the one doing that. He's the one, okay, don't do this. It's going to feel like this. This is the problems you're going to have. So I've already seen his leadership where he's doing it for us, Obviously the company believes in him enough to put him in the 45 to try to get points for the company. So that says a lot right there too, but it's unfortunate though for Kurt. I hope Kurt's able to come back because he is, Kurt and I've always got along. We've always been friends. He's always been a great driver. He's a champion. He's just a pleasure to work with here. He's and he's talented and he's fast. I hope he's able to come back. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather him, but I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a tough situation there with Kurt and his injury and recovery. We saw that with Dale Jr. It took forever for him it took a long time, more than we thought it would, to come through this concussion situation. And Kurt's kind of doing the same thing. And I kudos to Kurt for focusing on himself and making sure that he's in the right place, not rushing his return there. Back to Darlington here. With all the playoff cars that we saw have issues at Darlington, do you feel like just having good execution days is going to carry teams further in the playoffs? I used to think about the first round as being a base hit round. You just needed not to shoot yourself in the foot. But do you feel like just not shooting yourself in the foot is going to carry you deeper in the playoffs in this situation with the car we've got now?
It's a good point. Well, I think quite a few people are going to be solid at Kansas. Kansas, you got room to move. Kansas, you can run 3 wide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bristol, So I think if you can hold serve at Kansas and then Bristol, some people gonna make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's gonna get beat up. Somebody's gonna wreck. Somebody's gonna blow a tire,
Yeah.
So if I had to say,
racing for the lead there.
Yeah, if I had to say, I think you have to run good at Kansas to hold your position and then pray you get lucky at Bristol.
There you go. No, I think you're probably accurate with that as well. Bootie, I want to go a little big picture here. Getting the opportunity to work for Bubba Wallace, and Bubba's one of those kids. He's we always joke around here at MRN, one of my kids. Bubba Wallace, we was running the Legends car, the summer shootout. I've been the announcer out there for 25 years, and Bubba's one of my kids. And I love the young man to death and watching him. When you're crew chiefing for Bubba Wallace, you are in a spotlight unlike probably any other crew chief, any other person. How does that impact the team? Are you the separation of that, the rock star Bubba Wallace versus the driver Bubba Wallace? How do you manage all of that, Bootie?
I like you fellas. But I appreciate what you do with people like you doing what you do. You bring awareness to our sport. Fans like to hear it. They want to hear things maybe on the inside. It's intriguing for some people. So I appreciate that. Appreciate what you do. But I stay away from it all I can now. I don't look at social media. I don't I don't have a Twitter account. If it is, I hadn't whatever. I'm no Facebook, no nothing. I don't care. I pay zero mind to any of that. Bubba and I just I leave him alone, but I'm there for him. I mean, we talk when we have to. Like today, we just got back from his simulator. I drive him crazy at times because I push him to do certain things, but when he gets there, he does excellent. And then I leave him alone. You just try to give him some space, but also, so I just deal with the person, and zero mind or zero influence to me is all of the other stuff. None.
Yeah. You get to be a parent. You get to be a parent, right? Raise your kid. and have an impact on him that way.
Maybe, but I'm not. How do I look at him? We definitely friends. I don't look at him like a little brother. I don't do that. That's not. We're friends. We have a lot of similarities. I think we have a lot of similarities. We have some similar interests. We do. We have some, but then again, there are things that are way different between us, others too. So we're not the same people by any means, but we definitely have a lot of similarities in how we see things, and we definitely understand each other and communicate well, even if we're communicating that we disagree, but it's so that I don't know. It's just he's good to work with me. He's a pleasure. I like him a lot, so that makes a difference. I like him, Yep. I've had other drivers before that I can't say I necessarily liked.
There you go.
we won't get into that or naming names. We'll leave it out. We'll leave that.
They may not like me either. There are people that don't like me either, and I understand. Yep. Everybody's personality is not for everybody.
Welcome back to Crew Call, presented by Flow Racing, the home of NASCAR roots and so much more. You can find out more at flowracing.com/go MRN. Let's get right back to the guest line. My buddy from up at ThorSport Racing, the director of competition up there, David Pepper, joins us via Zoom call. Hello, David. How are you?
Steve, I'm doing great, Todd. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Absolutely. Truck Series playoffs. And see, there's 12 drivers, and you got 4 of those drivers in the fold up there as we get ready for a cutoff round going to Kansas this week. Just kind of assess how you're feeling as you get ready to go this weekend.
Well, I mean, it's a cutoff weekend, so there's a lot of pressure. I mean, we've had some good races, not great races, so we've got a couple that we need to go to Kansas and have some really good runs. Just need to perform at a high level. I mean, it's exciting, and everybody's, patting everybody on the back. It's like, oh, we got all 4 of them in the playoffs, but now we got to keep advancing. And statistically speaking, it's going to be, I think there's like a 6% chance that you can get them all to Phoenix. So you try to do the best you can do. Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I said it this morning to somebody, if getting to the playoffs and getting to Phoenix was easy, then everybody'd be in the playoffs. There wouldn't be a 10 truck cutoff and then down to 8 this week. So it just puts a lot of pressure on guys.
Yeah, definitely. One of those things that, I mean, trying to get 2 into the Final Four is in my assessment is an accomplishment. So trying to get 4, it's a mighty accomplishment. When you look at that, 2 of those teams are within single digits of cut line of the 4 that you've got. How do you coach that through? How do they work together as teammates? You're racing against everybody, but you're racing against your teammate as well. How do you manage that?
You are, and it's difficult. I mean, it's especially difficult for me because I'll just wear a ThorSport hat. I won't wear a hat that has a number on it. I may not actually go to either one of the pit boxes of those 2. That may sound weird. I think you get what I'm saying. I don't want the guys on 1 to look down there and say, "Oh, well, he's standing with the 98. That's his truck. He wants it to do better." Or he's with the 88. We need that one in. We need all of them to advance. And they've worked together here. I mean, we do all of our sim stuff together, all of our pull down. Everybody shares information. You can walk up and look right under your teammate's truck. So there's no secrets here. Ekus does a lot of the sim work. He does a lot of the stuff with all the setups on the truck. So, Ty works in the building and works as an engineer on the roamer arm, and he's measuring all the parts for everybody's suspension and trucks. And so it's kind of a group effort. So it kind of takes care of itself. I mean, everybody wants to advance, and yeah, you're going to be looking at your teammate and saying, all right, we got to be better than this guy, that guy. But I just think it pushes them. You don't want to be the odd man out. So you're going to push really hard to not be that.
The dynamic of your drivers fascinates me. You've got Matt Crafton, the tried and true veteran. I think he's been there since 2000, other than I think 1 year he went over to KHI, but he's been your rock star. You've got these guys that are kind of tweeners, if you will, Christian Ekus and Ben Rhodes, and, a lot of success for Ben. Christian having a great run as well. And then you got the rookie Ty Majeski coming in and in some weeks outperforming everybody. It's got to be a neat dynamic for you to have the full spectrum of experience there, David.
Well, I mean, it's definitely an interesting group. And it's kind of by design. I mean, you go try to get the very best people that you can, obviously. And Duke and Rhonda allow us to go out and find the very best drivers. And then we run Johnny in a handful of races. So on a Talladega weekend, like coming up here next month, we'll bring 5 trucks there, and 3 of them are former champions. And we kind of run the gamut. We got the Midwest guys covered. We got the young guys that are all over Facebook and Twitter. And then you got your veteran 3-time champion in Crafton that kind of just consistent, just kind of plugs along and does his thing. And so it gives us, honestly, when we're talking to sponsors and talking to partners, you don't really go in and you're selling one truck, one team. You go into a partnership and say, okay, well, what kind of person, what kind of representative fits you better? We've got that. Mm-hmm. You tell me what fits you better, and then that's the direction we'll go. So it's actually a really good thing. I mean, Jason Nedleski, who spots for Crafton, does a lot of our marketing stuff, and he and I talk about it all the time. What we have to sell here is very unique, but we don't have a set way that you have to do it. It's more of a, here's a blank sheet and tell me what you want. I mean, we put 2 in the playoffs last year into Phoenix. We're the first team to put all 4 in the playoffs of any organization. I mean, we've got a lot of highlights that we can sell here. I mean, everybody here is working really hard to try to make this successful.
You mentioned Crafton with 3 championships. One more would tie him for all-time high with Ron Hornaday. Do you think about those possibilities as an organization?
We do. I mean, I know I do. I know he does. I know the guys on the team, Duke and Rhonda, think about it. I mean, there again, you don't want to have a favorite. I mean, I'll be happy if the perfect scenario is, like you said, we get all 4 of them to Phoenix, and I'm going to go back on the stage and prop my feet up and just wait for which hat I have to put on. Now, that would be the perfect scenario. Now, will that ever happen? No, it probably won't. Yeah, it would be amazing. I mean, he's had a tremendous career, which, by no means is coming even close to an end. He's got a number of years of racing left in him. It would be great for him to get that 4th, maybe get a 5th, be the all-time starts leader, to set all those records. When you start getting into year, 14, 15, 16, now we're working toward 20 years. Next year, the Menards, ThorSport, Matt Crafton partnership will be the longest sponsor driver team sponsorship. It'll surpass Richard Petty and STP in Daytona. I mean, that's
wow.
Yeah, you just go year after year, and then you realize it's like, man, we've set some really cool records here. And Vegas last year when we went 1 through 4, you're standing there and you're watching it play out, and it's like, wow, we're really going to be able to do this. This is going to happen. We're going to make history here. And it's, do you want to see Ben win back to back? Yes. Would I love to see Christian and Ty get there first? Man, that would be phenomenal, because the journey that they've both taken. I mean, Ty has been such a stable through the Midwest and has had some opportunities that just haven't panned out. And it just worked out. I've been high on Ty for a number of years, and we finally got him here in the family, and he's rewarded us with some tremendous runs and in the playoffs. So yeah, I mean, I'm torn. I go back and forth during the race. I'll be at the Kansas race, and 1 minute like, yeah, no, we got to make this happen, and then you're like, well, I can't be cheering too much because I don't want the other guys to think that I'm not pulling for them. So it's cool to have that much talent and this much opportunity to cheer for and pull for at our team.
What I also find interesting, though, David, is you talk about good people, bringing good people, keeping good people. In the playoffs, you've made a crew chief change over on Matt Crafton. You've brought Shane Wilson, great crew chief, great find. Man, that's a big move right there. But is it a matter of just continuing to build depth and good people and trying to get that combination that Matt needs?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, admittedly, we were a little bit off of what our standards were for this year. I mean, we were working hard. Jeff Hensley did a great job for us, and we had a lot of things going back and forth there. And he decided that he wanted to go back to North Carolina and pursue something different. And so we didn't want to have a knee-jerk reaction on what we did, because we've got some really solid people here. Bud Hafel, who crew chiefed Matt for a number of years, stepped in and did a couple races with him, and then the car chief, Josh Hankish, took over for a race. And Shane came available, and I've known Shane 20 years ago back at Orleans Racing. And so it's like, man, we got to get that guy. That's a good guy that's out there. And when you see good people that are on the sidelines, you want to get them in your organization. It's no different than, I'll take last year. We have Johnny Sauter racing for us, former champion. He maybe wants to step back a little bit. Well, we had to go get Ty Majeski. We really didn't have a home for Ty, but we went out and got Ty to come here and be an engineer. And we told him we'll race a couple races and see what happens. We do the same thing with crew guys and crew chiefs and different folks. We have a lot of depth here, because when you see a good guy that's, out there and maybe unemployed at the moment or in between jobs, I like to say, in racing, because we're all in between jobs. Everybody's been fired once in racing. And you grab those guys and create a position. And Duke and Rhonda have built a team where we can do that. We can absorb that talent and say, okay, we'll just kind of hang out here. We'll run a race here. We'll put you with this guy. We'll kind of move the shell game around. And it gives you the opportunity to put the best people together. And hey, I mean, if Shane comes in here and we run, 7 playoff races and win a championship with Matt Crafton, we're all going to look like we were geniuses.
And you talk about that. It's one of the things I want to bring up. Most of the truck teams are down here in the Charlotte area. You're located in Sandusky, at least the Sandusky area of Ohio. What are the benefits? What are the drawbacks to that location?
So I had a line. I've been asked this many questions. I always answer with the same line, and a lot of people laugh when I say it. The trucks have absolutely no idea where they're built.
That's true.
You can ship parts anywhere. The trick is the people. Now, admittedly, everybody assumes that it's hard to get people here. But with the amount of racing that's going on, dirt racing, late model racing, super mods, just all through the Midwest and through this area, honestly, we've not really found that it's hard to find good people. We've got a core group of guys that have been here at this team for probably 10, 15 years. And then we bring in the young guys, and they may stay with us 2-3 years, and then they want to move down to Charlotte. And a lot of times they want to come back, and we always leave those doors open. The differences in our organization and how we do it is, you'll have a lot of teams in the Charlotte area that'll hire people, run through the season, and then they'll have a layoff period in December and January. And that's fine, because they can go right back out in, late January, February and gather up all those folks. We don't have that option. So we've built a model where we keep everybody employed. We work through the winter, and we spend a lot of time. There's not really the quote unquote off season where you kind of take a break and you're not building. We kind of schedule the way we do things here to build and maintain the trucks all the way through. in a fashion where we can keep those guys here. And obviously Duke and Rhonda with their parent company of ThorWorks Industries, we have that fortitude that we're able to do that. We don't have to cut back and let a lot of guys go. As far as, Northern Ohio, it's kind of a cool little thing. We're kind of I love when they call us the little team from Ohio, because I've got 150,000 square foot building and probably more employees and more trucks than anybody else. And like, yeah, we're the little team from Ohio. We'll roll with that. That's cool. But it's fun because it's the entire community up here. The whole North Coast has embraced us. And, you win a race in the Mooresville area and you go to lunch and nobody really says anything to you. You go to Daytona and win Daytona and you come back here. We're at the Lee's Chicken every Monday, and you drive down the road and we're creatures of habit, all of us. And they've got the billboard up congratulating, ThorSport for winning Daytona. And you go in the grocery store and people talk to you and say, hey, the team did great here. Where are we running this week? And it's really cool. It's just a different vibe being up here. It's you're almost like you're the race team for the entire North Coast.
Cool. And you talk about being in Sandusky. That's Sandusky Speedway is a super modified track. That goes back to my roots. You talked about bringing guys in from dirt racing and other things. And these guys come in, they keep racing. Is racing beyond truck series within your shop?
Very much so. I mean, obviously Ty goes and does the super mods and super late models. We've got guys that have drag boats, late models, sprint cars. We got 2 guys downstairs that work in a speed shop. I have them 3 days a week, and the other 3 days a week they build drag cars and street drags. Okay. And so there is some kind of racing going on somewhere within our group of people every single day of the week almost. And we promote that. We want you out there. We want you racing. It's funny you mentioned Sandusky Speedway. I can walk out my front door and I can throw a tennis ball. I can hit that racetrack. The back wall of that racetrack backs up to our property. So you can walk out there and when they're running, you can prop yourself up on a step ladder and peek over the back wall and watch them run. Awesome. It's literally in our backyard.
A lot of people say that. You've got an extra for real.
Oh, yeah.
That is cool. Boy, I'll tell you what, David, always good to catch up with you. You and I, when we got on here, we were trying to figure it out. We go back. We were both PR guys in the truck series, truck series back in the late 1900s. The late 1990s. Exactly. Yeah. We go back, and I find, your journey was so amazing as you've climbed the rank. And I think I called you director of competition, but I think you're general manager up there, right? Are you president? Yes, are you owner? What's your title?
No. I never gonna own one.
Yeah.
I'm the team manager. Actually, Tracy Hines, who raced for us for a while and then left, and we actually sponsored in the sprint car stuff. He's actually our director of competition. We just kind of keep it in the family. So he came back about 5 years ago, and when I said that, when I introduced you, I'm like, I don't think that's right. And so I like to make sure we get it proper. That's for sure. No. David, we're going to be following along. Of course, Motor Racing Network has all the truck series. Hey, I just thought of something. Announced last week that Craftsman is coming back as the title sponsor of the truck series. As a guy that's been around the series, what does it mean to you that will again be the Craftsman truck series? Oh man, I was going to touch on that, and I didn't know how I was going to segue that in to talk to you about it. I'm excited about it because it's like it comes full circle. Yeah. So 2-second quick story. In our building, back in the day, they being Craftsman came out with a bunch of different tools and different brandings and different things. We still have all that stuff here. We never get rid of anything here. We got all kinds of, so we have a creeper that has the original Super Truck Series, Craftsman Super Truck Series logo on it. And it sits in one of the offices here. And I was going to have Lynn, our PR lady, take a picture of it as soon as we get ready to go race. And, obviously the Camping World situation there. They kind of phase out at the end of the year and post that and said, ready to go back. I mean, it's kind of going back to the beginning. I mean, to your point, I've made a living in the truck series here for a number of years. I think I've missed one race in 22 years.
Wow.
And that was last year because of COVID. I love truck racing. It's some of the best racing in the world. I obviously go do all the other stuff too, as you know, but having Craftsman come back, you can kind of go to the back of your closet and start picking out all the stuff that had Craftsman on it. And I don't know that any of it's going to fit, but we still have all of it.
I'm the same way. When cool. they put the logo up, I was in the media center at Daytona. When they put the logo up on the big screen, I got chills. Like, whoa. Now, something is right with the world. And Camping World has been a great partner. They've been a fantastic partner. But when they made the decision to go away, what a replacement. What a great way to come back in.
The only thing they could do to make it even better is tell us, and my poor guys, some of them would be okay. The days that we used to go to all the Sears and Craftsman work stores and work out in the parking lots and have the fans out there right with you. I know a lot of people probably would say, man, we could never do that again. But there was such a connection in the growth of this series because of that. Yeah. I'd love to see us go back and do some of those things.
God, that would be awesome. I forgot about the old Sears stores Craftsman days where you'd go and there'd be trucks all over the parking lot and fans everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, fans everywhere.
You made the West Coast swing in those days. You just kept working. You found a place to go work on it.
Wow.
Yeah, you go out there for 5-6 weeks, go to Portland and Seattle and the old Bakersfield track. And yeah, that's what made the truck series, because you had all those champions from all those different series, all the different racetracks, all coming together. And I mean, it made it exciting. It's still exciting now, but it was, it's neat going back to that, because now these young guys like Ben Rhodes, like Christian Eckes, they're talking about it. And we got all these great stories, some of the older guys in the shop, and they're like, oh man, that's cool. And Ben's kind of a student, and so is Eckes. And they start looking up all this stuff and checking out the different racetracks. It's like, man, those would have been cool to race at. And it's like, yeah. There was if you go back and look at some of the schedules, they were outstanding schedules.
Oh, yeah. Louisville had a jump in the middle of the racetrack. I mean, that place you talk about landing. You talk about landing at Dover. Landing at Dover was nothing compared to landing at Louisville. I mean, my God, we had some fun. That's for sure. David, I'll tell you what, I could go on forever and ever, but we do need to cut this off at this point. But we wish you the best this week at Kansas, and we appreciate the time. Continued success, and thanks for joining us here on Crew Call.
Steve, thanks, Todd. Take care of yourself. Definitely. Awesome, guys.
There we go. David Pepper, General Manager up at ThorSport Racing. Stay with us. More Crew Call in just a moment. Welcome back to Crew Call, presented by Flow Racing, the home of NASCAR roots. Fantastic show. Good chance to catch up with not only Bootie Barker, but David Pepper as we break it down. And here we go, Todd, into Kansas. Round number 2 of, I love the way Bootie broke that down as far as uncertainty going into Kansas, because with Bristol on the horizon, man, we're in for a treat. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely are. And a place that the Toyotas were really dominant in the spring. First race there. So it'd be interesting to see how that comes back, how the other manufacturers have adapted to that. Running up against the wall. I actually think that what made the 45 the best car there was the fact they didn't have to run on the wall.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to see if that was a Kurt Busch thing or that was something that was within their organization, because I really did feel like that Bubba was strong there. They lost 6, 7, 8 spots on pit road every time they came down pit road.
This was back in that era where it was about to come unglued.
Yes,
and it did come unglued.
And really, I mean, he came back to a top 10 finish, and I think he could have run second.
Yeah,
it just really strong there. So it'd be interesting to see what Bootie and that group does, and whether everybody gets married up on the wall here, or whether they'll come back off of it.
Yeah, and how the cars evolved, how the teams have evolved. How the teams have changed. Who's better now than they were then? I mean, that's just going to be fascinating. It really is.
Yes, it'll be a phenomenal show, and
oh gosh,
plenty of opportunities with stages longer than fuel runs.
Right. So we have that. We'll have a little strategy involved there. Yeah,
you will, and where you can run. What a great weekend it's going to be. the truck race on Friday night.
Yep, no doubt.
With that being the cutoff race for the truck series, that'd be a lot of stress right there. And then Xfinity race, I think on Saturday, and the ARC race on Saturday. But I'm looking forward to where Sunday goes.
Stuff. We're looking forward to it. You're going to be joining us on Sunday in the booth there. After I threw a shot at you there when we were talking about time off, you're going to enjoy some Clemson Tigers football on Saturday, and then join us in Kansas on Sunday, right?
Yes.
Nice.
I mean,
you're doing what you set out to do.
Yes, that's part of why I stepped away, was to have some family time. Daughter's a senior down at Clemson. Obviously, I went there. So getting to those places, mom and dad will be going with us. So this is a family trip. It's
nice.
This is the family weekends that I wanted to, but I'll be out there for Sunday because I won't miss this Kansas.
No doubt about it. And we're looking forward to it. We love when you join us on these strategy races so we can keep all of us pit reporters in line and all the crew chiefs figure out what they're doing. It's going to be fun, that is for sure. And a fun weekend out there, as Todd mentioned. Busy weekend for MRN. 7 p.m. Eastern time on Friday night, NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, the Kansas Lottery 200. Saturday, noon Eastern time, Cup Series practice followed by qualifying. At 2:30, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, the Kansas Lottery 300. Okay, then we're not done with Kansas Lottery races. 7 o'clock on Saturday night, the ARCA Menard Series, the Kansas Lottery 150. Then we come back on Sunday, 2 o'clock Eastern time, NASCAR Cup Series pre-race show, NASCAR Live pre-race show, Mike Bagley and the crew. The Hollywood Casino presented by Barstool Sportbook 400 at Kansas Speedway. Race number 2 of the round of 16 for the Cup Series. 2 o'clock Eastern time, again, the Motor Racing Network airtime. So we would invite you to join us there. If you didn't have these times or didn't note them, you can go on our website, and not only can you find them on MRN.com, but you can also set a reminder so that you'll be reminded every time MRN comes on the air. While you're doing things online, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to this on Spotify or wherever, like and share. Spread the gospel a little bit. Do us a favor. We appreciate that as well. So great stuff. Kind of a twofer here today with Bootie Barker and with David Pepper. A lot of good conversation for sure.
Tons of great conversation. 2 totally different personalities.
Oh, no doubt.
In 2 different interviews. But Bootie, I remember Bootie. You know, you go back. My memories of Bootie was Scott Wimmer. In the Busch Series back in the old Bill Davis Racing.
4 races that year. They won 4 races that year. They were rolling.
Tough to beat in Pontiacs. I remember that. Just
no doubt.
That's where I first kind of got introduced to Bootie Barker. And what a great story up there at ThorSport.
Yep.
It's just David Pepper and what they've got with 4 trucks trying to make it through this round. This is a cutoff race for them.
Yep.
Going to be an exciting weekend.
For both
great
teams,
interviews.
For 2311 and for ThorSport, the next chapter will be written this weekend at Kansas. So we appreciate you joining us. He is Todd Gordon. I am Steve Post. Thanks again for joining us here on Crew Call, presented by Flow Racing. You can subscribe at www.flowracing.com/GoMRN.